Welcome back to Hear Me Out. I'm Dee.
I'm E.
And today's episode is about the Kardashians. Yay!
Woo!
We're starting the year off exactly the same. Okay, so obviously, you guys know we have covered a lot of different topics in 2023 regarding the Kardashians. And well, they're still around, but there are rumblings that they're losing their popularity. So, we have done some research, and apparently, there are 12 reasons why the Kardashians have lost fans.
Mm.
According to thethings.com, after more than a decade as queens of fashion, that's pushing it, social media, and reality television, the time is fast approaching when that reign will end. Those who know anything about the ends of empires and royalty know that they rarely end pleasantly. Although the family remains phenomenally wealthy, they seem to be losing clout. Here are some of the many reasons why the Kardashians are no longer the institutions they once were.
Hmm.
Ooh, okay. Interesting.
Well, okay. I guess I'll start with number 12. Should we
Yeah.
work from 12 or just start from 1 to 12?
Start from 12. Let's count it down.
All right. So, number 12 is their history of shoddy endorsements.
Oh.
One thing that irritated many of their fans is the family's growing list of bad endorsements. I'll say it later. Chloe, Kim, and the Jenner girls have all been called out at some point for endorsing products that turned out to be scams. There was Chloe's hair growth gummies, Kim's flat tummy teas, and even weight loss lollipops. All of these and several other products turned out to be a complete bunk.
um, okay. That may have been the case many years ago, but I think for the last few years, a lot of their stuff has been legit. I can't say that's a real reason.
Well, the Let Me vitamins, that's still very questionable to me. You know,
Listen, Linda.
listen,
People need
but
to do their research before they buy anything online,
listen,
especially anything
but
health related.
But there was an episode of The Kardashians. I don't know if it was this season or a previous season on Hulu where Kim was discussing the power of being your own brand versus like licensing and all
Oh
these
yeah, yeah.
things. So I think that this is like referencing like when they started and maybe like
Yeah,
some of their stardom where they were
right.
endorsing all these different things that weren't theirs. But now we've seen that they built their own brand, Skims, Skin, Kylie
Mhm.
Cosmetics, Good American, Lemmy, what else?
Right.
A18, Arthur George. Why do I know this? I don't know. But they have like their own brands that they're really focusing on. So they're not
Yeah.
really endorsing that much per se. I did see
Right.
recently that Kris Jenner and Kylie were endorsing aloe,
Yes.
the gym stuff. So
Yeah.
I haven't seen something like that from them in a while, except their wannabe couture, high fashion
Right.
things. But for the most part, right now, it's basically their brands.
That's
I
true. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't really see that as being like a, real reason right now. Okay, moving on. Number 11. Kanye West.
think.
Although Kim divorced him and is getting 200,000 a month in child support, the fact that Kim Kardashian remained loyal to the increasingly problematic rapper for so long was enough to raise the eyebrows of many. West has since outed himself as an anti-Semite, allegedly, conspiracy theorist, allegedly, and fan of Adolf Hitler, allegedly. Kim has 4 children with this man. Hmm. Listen, listen,
Listen,
Linda.
what do we say?
We actually did a video concerning the reignited feud between Kim Kardashian and Taylor Swift. And that is, I think, one of the biggest mistakes that she has made in regards to, I guess, like just industry trends or whatever, because Taylor Swift is a brand. Taylor Swift is a trend. Taylor Swift is pretty much iconic at this point. And for Kim to be against her in any kind of way, in this time, it's kind of more by omission, or, basically by not saying anything, by not apologizing, by not discussing it, that kind of does remind people of the stuff she did and her allegiance to Kanye at that time, and the way in which, especially after the Time article, the way in which it affected Taylor Swift, the things that Kim and Kanye did to her. So that to me is like one of the big mistakes. Like, Kim doesn't make a lot of missteps when it comes in the industry, at least not as of late, right? Within the last few years. But I think this is one of those that is a mistake.
I mean, she's bound to this man for the rest of her life. I
Yeah.
mean, Bianca over there on on
Instagram.
Instagram looking like Kim in the
Yes.
latest Kanye post. I was like, is that Kim? And then it's not. So I don't know. What can you do with Kanye? Kanye's his own person. She already divorced him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately or unfortunately, that's the father of the kids. So
Right.
it is like
There's no
I have no
changing that.
comment. Yeah, I have no comments for that. Mr.
No.
West does what Mr. West wants to do.
Always. Always.
But let me add something now that I remember. But
Uh-oh.
I feel like she does mention him a lot, or like subtly reference him every now and then, which
Hmm.
makes me think, why are you still talking about Kanye or referencing Kanye, or like bringing up Kanye kind of inspo, like North wearing her dad's stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Or, there was like this cringy video I was telling you the other day where North was, I guess, dressed like Kanye or like had makeup like Kanye, and then Kim was
Hmm.
like all over North, and it was
Hmm.
kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, she'll
Yeah.
say like, what was that episode where was it Mario getting married? No, Chris Applegate getting married.
Oh, right, right. Appleton.
Applegate. Appleton getting married, and then we want prenup. Like,
Oh, yeah.
so she's always throwing these little things like, hey, remember Kanye? So do you want us to associate you with Kanye or not?
Right. Like, it's just, I think it's a catch-22 because, like you said, she's bound to this man for pretty much ever, right? Like, they are a family whether they want to be or not.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, some of the stuff is a little cringy, like that video you mentioned, but I think the fact that, like, she does allow, North to wear her dad's stuff, and that she seems to be excited about it. I think that's more for her kids
Mm-hmm.
versus like the internet, because her kids will see this. Like, North is on TikTok with her. You're telling me North is not seeing some of these things? Like, of course she's, I think, going to want her kids to like see her being positive about her dad, or about
Yeah.
their dad. So that's the reason why I think like there's some, I guess, like difference there in regards to her interactions with the kids and referencing Kanye. But anyway, that's always going to be a thing. I mean, I think it'll always be there. But
No,
yeah.
no. Let us know what you think in the comments about this, guys. All right. Next, number 10, their constant photoshopping. Kim Kardashian and her sisters have all been called out for photoshopping their Instagram photos multiple times, which
Hmm.
many argue reinforces unrealistic and unhealthy body image standards.
Yeah.
But doesn't everybody Photoshop?
Yeah, but I think that there can be a through line to the Kardashians, the Kardjenners on Instagram having this sort of look to them that people can now go to a plastic surgeon and say, I want to look like this person. And that for years you had copy paste versions of the Kardjenners out in the world. A lot of their
Right.
friends, a lot of their friends look like them. Like, even Lala Anthony, it like morphed into one of the Kardjenners, like
You
within
think
the
so?
last few years. Definitely.
I don't think
Definitely.
so. I think Lala looks like Lala.
No, she does not look like the Lala from before. She looks amazing, don't get me wrong, she's a beautiful woman, but you can see the Kar Jenner influence in her look.
I gotta look at.
And yeah, and so, like, you know, uh, I think, yes, while everybody does photoshopping, everybody filters, all that stuff, when you had these women who at one point were the most popular women on Instagram. Kylie, I think, had the most followers at one point. Kim had almost as many followers. You know, yes, they play a role. I
Hmm.
definitely think that they do. I'm not going to excuse them from that. You know, I feel like they were a big influence in the way in which people viewed their bodies, in particular young women, and then, you know, just photoshopping the crap out of themselves to look a particular kind of way. So yeah.
What you said.
Okay, so number 9, animal rights. I did not expect to see this on here. So,
Mhm.
animal rights activists are not fans of the Kardashians because of their notorious love of fur clothing. Anti fur activists have picketed many Kardashian events, including Kim's book signings. Kim had a book? I didn't know that. Okay, interesting.
No thoughts whatsoever. All right,
Same.
number 8, fat phobic storylines on the Kardashians. Cosmopolitan and other sources claim that many fans began to stop watching The Kardashians, their show on Hulu, when the show began to emphasize more weight loss storylines than their previous show, Keeping Up. Um, This says the Kardashians and their problematic beauty standards have always been a drag on their popularity, but it would seem even some of the most dedicated followers are sick of it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. That's it goes back to what I was saying earlier with, you
mhm.
know, them being pretty responsible for the way that women, you know, feel about themselves for the last 10 years. Like, it just is what it is.
It's funny because keeping up, everybody had like the booty, the voluptuous, frame,
Curves.
the
Yep.
curves, and now Hulu, we're all 90s supermodels, uber thin. We're removing the excess that we added in. We're stick thin. I guess we're trying to gain weight so we can look healthy, even though we want to be skinny.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know why they're fat phobic all of a sudden.
I don't know, but there was, I don't know if it was this past season or the season prior, where Kylie had a comment about, you know, the responsibility that they have for the way, you know, people look at their bodies or whatever, because of her seeing Stormy and loving every feature of Stormy and her regrets over the things she's done to herself. Um, you know, I think that's been very much like a common theme for them, that like they they don't take full accountability
Mm-hmm.
for, you know, the way in which they have shaped the beauty standards in America, because you do have a lot of women that, you know, want to look like them, that do what they can, and like, that's great that they work out, but they also have personal chefs. They also can manage their schedules in different ways in which most working American women cannot.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's be transparent about the fact that you drinking a gallon of water a day and working out at 5 a.m. is not the only reason that you look the way that you look.
Mm.
That's it.
We forgot to mention the nannies and, the people that do stuff for them and the
Assistance
assistants.
and yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you got it. That's great. Good for you. But don't try and make it seem like we're all the same.
Mm-hmm.
We're not. We're really not. Anyway, so number 7, the Ray J tape allegations. Yes, ma'am, I am tired of it. Oh my God. So Kim Kardashian's private tape with musician Ray J made her famous, and many argue it was the catalyst that launched her family's reality TV dynasty. The family has always claimed that the tape leaked happened, without Kim's consent. However, Ray J, the partner in said tape, and several others allege that Kim's mother, Kris, was the one who released the tape intending to get a reality TV show out of it.
I think that that's so I can't fathom. Like, I can't even.
That a mother would do that?
Yeah, I think that's
I can.
I mean, I
I'm
guess
not
they
saying
know
it.
what they
I'm not
are.
saying she did it, but I'm saying it's possible. We've learned of some crazy things that have happened in Hollywood
Yeah,
just in the last few years, so you never know.
Hollywood's
Allegedly.
weird. It's a weird place. All the
Sure
things,
is.
all the revelations that have happened, we've
Mm,
covered some. I don't know if you guys have checked it out already. We have the Will Smith allegations. We have the upcoming Diddy. I know it's been a couple months already, about two, but things just
whew.
kept popping up, and we're like, we need an all comprehensive,
Yeah,
like, dig down of all this Diddiness. So that's coming up. I think, what else
yeah.
have we mentioned? Other videos.
Well, I mean, we did do like the breaking of that whole lawsuit with Diddy. That was like immediately. And then of course, the situation that Britney Spears went through that she discussed in her memoir, that nobody knew about, between her and Justin Timberlake and their terminated pregnancy. There's been a lot of different things that have happened that, I
Hollywood's
mean,
a weird place. And we're
for
not even
sure.
going to discuss Jada and all the things that she said that we wish we didn't know.
No, we are
That's
not.
neither here
Not
nor
today.
there. Number 6, their inconsistent politics. Kim irritated many, especially leftists and liberals, when she was seen dining with Ivanka Trump, your favorite person, the
Uh-huh.
daughter of Donald Trump. I'm going to skip a whole bunch of stuff here.
Mhm.
Kim has always been a self pronounced Democrat, dining with the likes of Hillary Clinton, but her connection to Ivanka Trump and her endorsement of conservative candidate Rick Caruso for mayor of LA over progressive Democrat Karen Bass further enraged the left.
Mhm. So,
Hmm. This is your realm of expertise. Go ahead, girl.
Kim is a billionaire. Kim is no longer a Democrat. Kim is a
Mm.
conservative. Full stop. That's it.
That's it. I needed to do that. I needed a sound effect for that. You know what? When you're right, you're right.
Yeah.
Get it right. The right.
Okay, anyway. Number 5, Kim's classism. Well, that goes hand in hand with what I just said. Another reason many of Kim's left of center fans have abandoned her was her out of touch comments about their work ethic. In an interview promoting their move to Hulu, Kim at one point viciously said, "Get your effing ass up and work. It's like no one wants to work anymore." The internet was quick to point out that the Kardashians inherited a great portion of their wealth and that nepotism played a huge role in their success. People who were married to billionaires like Kanye West are not exactly in a position to talk about hard work.
Mm.
Well, yeah.
What do we say about this?
Oh, I have a few things, but you go ahead.
You know, I think I was talking to another friend and it was something about work related stuff. And uh, should I talk about the topic? We're talking about like raises and stuff, right? Like, oh, the cost of living adjustments and things like that. And so, since I'm not going to get too specific, but basically, people that are, you know, in another tax bracket or like executives or things like that, or, whoever, they might make way more than you do. And
Mhm.
sometimes things that are very logical to them don't make sense to other people because
Mhm.
they have lost touch of being in the, I'm gonna call it, the poorer space. you
Yeah.
know like, if I'm
Yeah.
making $100 and you're making 1 million and you're like, oh, that's easy, why don't you just go buy blah blah blah? Yeah, okay, I wish I could, but blah blah
Right.
blah is $200. That's nothing
Right.
to you because you make 1 million.
Right.
So I think, you know that comment was out of touch
Right.
because, she's been grinding for so long and now she's reached this status and stature and like this respect in the business world, that she's, a great businesswoman and blah, 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 blah. So
Yeah.
now she's like a boss, feeling
Right.
like a boss. So,
Yeah.
she's saying, everybody get your ass up and work.
Right.
So that just rubbed people the wrong way. She should have. I don't think that she could even say a comment like that, to be honest, without being annihilated by fans.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't going to come out nicely, whichever way she said
Oh no. No. So Kim is a billionaire. She's no longer a Democrat. She's a conservative.
it.
Full stop.
Full stop.
Full stop. Yeah.
I mean, it is.
I agree with everything you said. Yeah, it's true.
All right. Number, what are we, 4?
4. Yeah.
All right. Plane Gate. I had a one. So in 2022, news broke that Kylie Jenner took a short, less than a 20-minute flight on her private jet around to get around from to damn, I can't even talk today. A 20-minute flight on her private jet to get around LA traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Private jets are a major cause of pollution and, in turn, climate change. It only got worse for the family when news broke that this was a regular habit for most of the Kardashians and the Jenners. Kim and Kylie were both implicated as some of the biggest stars with the worst carbon footprints.
Yeah.
Perpetuating the ongoing and increasingly dangerous climate crisis is one of the easiest ways to lose fans.
So Kim is a billionaire. She's no longer a Democrat. I mean, think about it. Like you mentioned, when you are in another tax bracket, you are out of touch. Eventually, you become out of touch with the lesser brackets. That's just natural. I'm not
Yeah.
hating on her. I'm not saying it to be malicious about it. It's just a fact. And I think that people in general don't like facts. People get offended by facts. That's not my problem. That's your problem. But the fact is, this woman is a billionaire. She does not care about the other tax bracket. She cares about her tax bracket. So maybe she was referencing with her past comments people in her tax brackets. I don't know. I don't know her. I don't know her work ethic, but she seems to pretend like she works a lot. And I don't think it's pretend. We've seen a lot of stuff that, yeah, the girl seems to work a lot. But maybe, her peers or the people she may see around her or the circles, that she may be connected to or whatnot, maybe she sees the opposite of that. So, point is, she is a billionaire. She's in a different tax bracket. She does not care about what people think. And
Not even our carbon footprint.
she will utilize her tools at her disposal to get around LA traffic. Do we agree with it? We don't have to. It doesn't matter. We are not in that space. We are not in that position. So, have people in the past ever thought, "Oh, I wish I could just teleport. I wish I could just, like go this or go do that or whatever." It's a common thought. Yes, we all have thought, oh my God, if I could just do this. But see, we don't have the means, because of course teleportation does not exist, but we don't have the means to make something like that happen. She does. So does Kylie. So while we may not agree with it, and while they may be terrible with the carbon footprint, they're not going to care. Like, that's just what it is. And we're not going to understand a lot of the stuff that they say and do because we're not in the same tax bracket. I think one of the things we talked about when we first started covering them was how in the first 2 seasons, I think, of the show, they were heavily focused on their businesses and just showing the things that they were doing with their businesses, showing their luxuries, all these different things. And the show was not hitting. It was not hitting because it was no longer a family show where things looked relatable. There were
Yeah.
relatable situations. Now we're talking about million, billion-dollar deals. We're talking about, meetings, and we're talking about like private jets and all these different kinds of luxuries that most of us can't fathom because we're not there. It's a fact. And that's not to say it's a bad thing or it's a good thing. It's just a fact.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, that's that.
Okay. That.
Well, number 3, their past ties to Balenciaga. Although Kim and the rest are considering their connections to the brand because of their scandal, their past connection to the fashion house is a real problem for the family. Balenciaga got a wave of online hate when pictures of an ad campaign that involved children near BDSM gear came out. And as we know, the connection is still very strong because Kim just posted something earlier today that was Balenciaga.
Well, it seemed like all the celebrities forgot about this because everybody
Yeah.
showed up to that Balenciaga. What was the show
The
at?
LA show.
The LA show.
Yeah.
Kim was front and center,
She sure
rocking
was.
Balenciaga, and even in the show, you pointed it out to me that she wears Balenciaga clothes all the time. I'm like, I didn't
Yeah.
even notice. So it's like she's subtly throwing these things at us, like, hey,
Yeah.
So this was one of the instances where she skirted around, didn't really
Yeah.
say anything because she didn't want to, lose ties with this
Yeah.
brand
They don't do anything without calculations.
for sure.
The fact that they, whether it was Kim or whether it was Chloe or another family member, were randomly wearing Balenciaga gear while they were filming was on purpose. They never had any intentions of actually breaking ties. The only way that would have happened is if the outrage would have continued, but it didn't. So here we are, Balenciaga's back on the map, and everybody was at their fashion show in LA. It's not going anywhere. But it definitely made me think that, like, I don't want anything to do, with people like that.
And I was surprised to see even more people rocking it. I saw Usher there,
Yeah.
like Tiana Taylor. Did Paris Hilton go?
I don't remember if she went.
But there was like a whole bunch of A-list celebrities
Hmm.
there. I think I saw
Yeah.
2 Chainz there. Who else? I don't
There's a
know, a
lot
whole
of
bunch
people.
of people. But I was
Yeah.
like, really? Like, y'all really forgot what
Cardi
they.
B walked on their LA show. She walked the catwalk.
Well, we know Cardi B will not skip on a coin.
This
If
is
she
true.
was paid, she
This
gonna
is
do it. I
true.
can't be
Yeah.
mad at that. But
Very
I
true.
don't like that the Kardashians like skirt through some of these big topics
Yeah.
and just want us to focus on these other things.
It's
It's
like
not,
the politics.
it,
They're inconsistent politics. It's the same thing.
and she was hanging out with Ivanka the other day. Where were they going? Was she at the Christmas party?
Ivanka went to her birthday party, but Ivanka probably went to the Christmas party too.
It was
A
her birthday.
birthday party's intimate.
Yeah.
Who's there? So,
Mhm.
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kim is trying to be in the Senate. Now I'll be like, all right, it's time to move from
The
America.
Senate is not the Senate is not big enough. It's not big enough. Other aspirations, ma'am. Other aspirations. Criminal justice reform? Anyway.
All right. Number 2, we're getting close, guys. The public is getting tired of their shtick.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, another reason the Kardashians have lost clout is that fans think that they have become too predictable. Their new show is almost no different than their original series on E. Everyone expects that Kim is going to show off her partners like Pete Davidson. Well, that was like a while ago.
Right.
That Chloe will struggle with body image issues while also perpetuating ridiculously high and low beauty standards somehow, and that Courtney will share some PDA with Travis Barker. In other words, they're all losing their edge. And we can't forget that that the Jenner portion of the Kardashians will never share.
Right. Yeah, that's it. I got nothing else.
All right, what's number
Yep.
one?
So
You've
number one,
it.
number one, income inequality. Here we are once again. Income inequality in the US is at an all-time high, and it was only made worse by the COVID pandemic and lockdowns of 2020. While the Kardashians enjoy huge piles of cash and live in luxury, millions of Americans are dealing with a diminishing standard of living. Poor and hungry people can't relate easily to someone who doesn't know how to peel bananas or cut cucumbers. As poverty rises, so does disdain for the rich. So, I think there was a video, and I can't fully remember where we touched on it, but the issue has always been, or really to me, like one of the root issues of the problems in our country, in our society, is classism, is income inequality. The fact that you have people that want what others have, and that people that have what they have want more of it.
Mm,
So there's always just going to be this disparity. There's always going to be this income inequality.
yeah.
During the pandemic, at one point, Kim flew people out to an island to celebrate her birthday. Major income inequality right there. And there was the fact that, like, when she took Chris Appleton, I want to say Applegate because you mentioned it earlier, Chris Appleton and his now soon to be ex-husband to get married in Vegas, she called Chloe and told her, "Do you want me to turn the plane around to go and pick you up?" As if it's no big deal, because it's not a big deal to her.
Mm,
Chloe had the good sense, realizing they're being filmed, to say, "No, we're not going to do that. You're not going to turn a whole plane around." Of course, because you're being filmed, you can't say stuff like that.
mhm,
But the fact is, their minds, the way they think, is completely different from us. They're not going to be relatable in a lot of ways, but there are moments, where there's tidbits of relatability here and there. But at the end of the day, you can't expect to see them living in the hood. You can't expect to see them living in suburban middle America. That's not who they are.
yeah.
And people continue to watch because of the income inequality, because they want to see all of the luxuries, all of the things that people want to have and obtain. That's why Balenciaga is still around, because of them, because of people
Mhm.
like them. So income inequality, I think, is like the root of all evil in this country, because, consumerism is king and capitalism is king, and nobody capitalizes on that more than the Kardashians.
That is true. I was going to mention that. They're just doing what they do. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
the whole reason we tune in is for the drums, and the
The
reason I tune in is like I want to see luxury. Like
Yeah.
I like it, if it's not too, gross,
Overt. Yeah.
overt. I enjoy it, but I don't know, maybe a lot of you guys are the same way. I'm not the type that is going to get jealous or be like, hey, I wish I was Kim
No.
Kardashian. I'm like, no,
Right.
you know what? Let me look into that business venture that I wanted to start. It's
Right.
not going to be Skims or
Right.
Skin or Kylie Cosmetics, but it's like, you know, a tad inspirational to me, you
Yeah.
know, just seeing these things. Or it's like, oh man, sometimes I'm influenced by, I don't want to say the Kardashians, but let's say Instagram, people
Mhm.
on YouTube. I'll be like, oh, you know what? I really like that bracelet. Let me go get it because
Yeah.
I really like it, not
Right.
because I'm following trends.
Yeah.
So I think just people have to assess, why
Yeah.
they watch things and how they feel watching these things. Because I'm not, at the end of the episode, I'm not feeling bad for myself because I'm not a victim.
Right. Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, they're dramatic. I'm like, oh, I don't want to be Kim right now. She over there talking about
Yeah.
Kanye, about getting divorced, about Pete Davidson, about her kids not listening to her. Like,
Yeah.
like, being that rich, I'm sure she has this whole other set of problems that I cannot even
Right.
fathom to think.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. There's income inequality. There always has been. There always will
Mhm.
be, it seems, because the rich will not want to give up their
At
power.
all. No. And that's, I think it's frustrating because it's like, we, like you said, you'll see some of the things and it'll like give you some inspiration. I feel similar, it's like I'll see some stuff that they're doing. I'm like, oh man, like maybe I could do something like this, or maybe I can do, this other thing I was thinking of, or maybe I can figure out a way to cram in some more things, because sometimes I like to be extra busy and make sure I'm on top of everything. Like that's just how, like, I feel our brains work. And obviously that's not the same for everybody. But I can see why it would affect people to the point that they don't want to tune in as much anymore, because
Yeah.
it's got to be tough for some people.
Mhm.
It's like you watch shows to kind of like detach from your world a little bit, to kind of, escape things. And if
Yeah.
you're seeing these women who have absolutely everything they could possibly have in the world, um, you know, buying a new car, buying a new home, or build on a home that they're getting in Malibu or whatever, like
Mm,
it kind of reminds you of the fact that you have a high mortgage, or your mortgage is higher, or your interests are higher, your property taxes are due, like all
yeah,
these different things, or the fact that you can't afford a home because it's crazy in real estate right now. All these different things. Those
yeah.
are reminders for people. So yeah, it's tough. Um but again, this is their reality. And it's kind of a toxic situation, because for the people who do feel so negatively about it, they revel in the drama that happens, or in the bad stuff that happened to them. And that's how you get like this cycle of like all this negative like publicity, and people just like waiting for the downfall, which I think is unfortunate, because it's like,
Yeah.
why would you want or pray for anybody's downfall? And it all just comes from that, from this inequality that, we continue to see, where some of us want to like, do more, be inspired or whatever. Others see it as like, well, they shouldn't have that, or why do they have that and I don't, like
Mhm.
it's such a negative space to be in. And I think that like some people should really tune out already.
Social media has been a blessing and a curse because
Yeah, it really has.
all this overconsumption and all this like
Mhm.
access to information and everything is
Yeah.
being thrown at you. It's like overwhelming, especially since you see like everybody showing you their good side. Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
just bought
The
this car.
highlight reel.
Yeah, I just got this bomb ass job. I just blah blah blah. It can make people feel inadequate, and that's kind of
Yeah.
sad, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But are you guys still tuning into the Kardashians? You guys know we cover their episodes, we cover
Right.
Kardashian content because we like the drums. I can't help it, okay? I like the drums. We all like the drums.
Yeah.
But, I have seen a decrease in their popularity with me
Yeah.
because I have mentioned it when we do cover the episodes. I'm like, why am I watching this sometimes? I'm like, I know I like the drums, but it's
It
like
makes you rethink.
it's really sitting in my spirit. Like, why am I watching you guys? Like, you're kind of rocking my nerves a little bit. So
Yeah.
I could see if it's happening to me, and I'm very unattached to them in that way. I could see,
Yeah.
how, other people might feel.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. Well, I guess that wraps everything up, because we gave you 12 reasons, y'all. If y'all have a 13, let us know.
I know. Let us know in the comments what you think about all 12 and additional reasons. Do you guys want to tune in to the Kardashians in what year are we in? 2024? I had to look at the calendar.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm an accountant. So technically, I'm working in 2023. They're asking me 2022 questions, and I'm in 2024 closing books. Okay? It's a lot. I'm working in
Yeah.
3 year span.
Yeah. Yeah.
Forgive
Yeah.
me. But let us know in the comments what you think. But that concludes today's video. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, please share our video. We're trying to grow our community so your friends can
Yeah.
be our friends, so we can all be friends. We also have social media, which they'll tell you about.
We're on Instagram and TikTok at Hear Me Out DNE. So make sure you guys like, follow, share, comment on the content. We enjoy interacting with y'all.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.